This was the most celebratory thing I owned, so I was like, okay, well, it was Zoe's birthday, so when we didn't get a chance to celebrate it on broadcast, so I'm going to celebrate it today when she's back in action on the desk. So that was my logic there.
It's good. I feel like I'm just a small head today on broadcast. If I just go down just a little bit, I'm just a head. Like, yes, it's just me. It's like a Futurama, like a head in a jar kind of thing, but it's, it's us broadcasting right now.
No, I like that.
Houston Outlaws versus the Paris Eternal. We can just do this for the entire time, although my thighs and legs are actually hurting right now. Maybe I'll just have to move the camera. It's going to be a good day.
Workout for the day.
Maybe for Paris, maybe not. They're 1-19, and Outlaws have got a pretty good position currently in the standings rows. What can you really say about this series? I mean, Paris are already out. The Houston Outlaws are playing for some additional points, some map differential to get them a more favorable standing position. If they do end up today with a 3-0, they're going to be pretty damn happy.
I think they're going to be pretty happy as well. They definitely need the map differential because any little bit is going to help them. And this is the roster that they're going to do it with. We've got Merit, Pelican, Dante, Lastro, and Creative, which are just kind of the normal faces that we've seen from the Houston Outlaws on their starting roster this stage.
Thank God we changed that screen.
I was like, as soon as it changed, I like stood up.
Shows how much I do squats anymore. I'll tell you how many I've done in the last 3 years. 0. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, look, Dante is asleep. So, best wake him up before the series starts. Maybe he's dreaming about just playing ranked in Overwatch 2. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, he's woken.
Oh, he's awake.
Someone woke him up. It's all good.
Yeah,
Creative, Lastro, Dante, Pelican, and Merit. Yeah, Pelican maybe still laying down in the bed. I need to wake him up ASAP as well. All good, all good. It's gonna, like I said, Rose, it's gonna be a tough game for the Paris Eternal.
Yeah.
Ideally, you just come up with some cool, epic performances. Get some nice clips you can shove on the timeline. You know, in looking forward to next year. And maybe your prospects open up a little bit. I know Dove, especially, who's starting to, of course, with the Paris Eternal, has been looking pretty decent. Like, in general, I think a lot of Paris players, they do have a lot of potential within the Overwatch League, and maybe it was a little bit too late, rather late, obviously, with all the roster changes we've been having over the last couple of months. But it's good to kind of think super far ahead. Malfoy, Krawi, Rakatak, and Luca Mino in the support.
Yeah, I think this roster absolutely has potential, and it's unfortunate that a lot of teams that are out mathematically have just started to wake up as we've entered into this stage. You know, I think Paris is certainly one of those teams. They've only played 2 matches so far this stage. Actually, Houston as well. We've only seen Houston and Paris twice up to this point. And so they have a lot of lost time to make up for. But this is going to be the first match to kind of get them to that 3rd match each. I feel like they've both been playing pretty well. And, like, unfortunately for Paris, their first 2 opponents were London Spitfire and then Dallas Fuel. And Houston are definitely not going to be slouches either.
Yeah, rough schedule, I think, for a lot of teams coming into the play-ins almost. It's been rather tough. Or the qualifiers, I should say, where it's still in the Countdown Cup qualifiers playing to rather soon. Also, new patch. Man, I'm just looking forward to playoffs already. Honestly, just having a new patch, having Kiriko being available, like
exactly.
Her kit is a little bonkers. I love it. The mobility is insane. I'm super looking forward to who's going to be good. Now, I know a lot of people when I've been streaming, people are like, oh, who do you think is going to be the best Kiriko? And I'm like, well, I don't know, but any good flex support with aim
right now.
Yeah, any good flex support with aim, you're going to dominate. Yeah, I said Shu too. He got some cracked out aim, and he's a Zenyatta player too because the projectile speed is going to be a little bit ridiculous.
Exactly.
All right, Lijiang Tower is our first map. Paraíso, Junction Town, Colosseo, and Oasis is our final map.
Cool. So, as we head into Lijiang, you know, both of these teams historically have really focused on playing Sombra, Tracer, D.Va, Zenyatta, and Ana. So you've got that double flex support in the back line, and then D.Va as the focus for the tank. Now that we're starting off on, like, Lijiang, I love that we have all of these different stages that we're seeing a little bit more versatility in the compositions. But it's really Dante that I have a lot of focus on because Krawi's already shown us a lot of versatility in that tank role. But Dante versus their match against San Francisco Shock, where they did take take a win, Dante didn't touch the Doomfist. He focused a lot more on Orisa and D.Va to really get Houston Outlaws that dub. So Dante looks to be starting out here on Control Center with the Orisa, which makes a lot of sense given that we're playing in these close quarters, and that spear is going to go far, Jaws.
Wow. Two very interesting DPS picks here from Eternal, Cassidy, and the Junkrat. All right. Little Jay Silly on Command Center. You know how it be. I do like Cassidy. I thought it would be a little bit more prominent when it comes to picks, but because you can one-shot someone with the magnetic grenade plus just a body shot, you can one-shot a 200 HP target if they don't get heals. So I thought it would be a little bit more prominent. But who is prominent right now is Paris Eternal on the point. Dante is the only Outlaws member remaining, trying to force this point into a stalemate. Crowley just trying to push people away. Pelican trying to go for an assassination. Crowley almost hit him with that spear. But the Outlaws have stalled long enough to actually come back from spawn. And Lucamino and Rack Attack are dead, so no more heals for Paris Eternal. On what looked like their fight. Looks like they're going straight back to spawn, changing their DPS picks too. Genji and the Sojourn coming in.
Yeah, I loved the idea of the Cassidy and the Junkrat. I think that with the Junkrat too, you can just get so much explosive damage, especially if you can be a bit more predictive with your shots. You don't even have to be that accurate, you just have to make it more difficult for Houston to aggress upon you. But I think the Sojourn and the Genji are more comfort picks here for Paris.
Window for Paris on the high ground, pushing Outlaws all the way back. They're going to go super aggro too, it looks like. Although Dub decides better of it and ends up dashing back to the rest of his team as Crowley takes the charge. Creative goes down, followed by Lastro, so now both supports dead for Outlaws. They got completely bisected right there. Half Outlaws on the point, and yeah, that window separated the entire team, and Paris Eternal took good advantage of it.
Well, that's something that Lucamino has been so good at this entire season, has just been setting up with this Baptiste. I mean, Lucamino is known for the Baptiste in contenders, and so being able to move up to the Overwatch League stage, it's been great to see him continue to use this hero to great success, especially in this meta too, where that immortality field can be just as impactful.
Nice flank from Dove there. Disruptor shot does a whole lot of work, slowing down that Ana, but Dante gets the nano. A last parting gift from Creative to make sure they can continue winning this fight. As Pelican does what Pelican does best and cleaning the rest of the team up. Quite a close affair right now. Paris Eternal coming in with 4 ults.
That's going to be a lot of firepower here, too. I mean, maybe we get a chance to see a Terra Surge actually pop off in the Overwatch League here, as both Dante and Crowley have it ready. Listen, I just want to believe, Jaws, that maybe we'll understand where that stat comes from.
Let's go, Terra Surge! Dante, he throws it out, but it gets countered out by the beat. Paris Eternal do manage to find that flip, but look at this push coming from the Outlaws. Lashro held onto that sound barrier for so long. And Malfoy with no nano behind him struggles to get any damage. At least Paris Eternal did stop Outlaws just for a little bit. They got some free percentage points there halfway through that fight, but it was an Outlaws win at the end. They saved their overclock. At least Paris Eternal had their Terra Surge, but I mean, to give you a little bit of hope there, Rose, Houston Outlaws don't have Lucio to speed away from it, so...
No. Yeah, they don't have the immortality field either, or some type of supportive ultimate, so let's see what Crowley can get done. Paris did buy themselves some time with that cap to actually come back into this one, this full team of 5.
Oh, backline. There's the Terra Surge, dragging everybody in. Oh, it gets some damage done. Lastro bites the dust. However, one support remains in Creative, holding down the fort, and Merit with that overclock should seal this deal. Paris Eternal once again snipe away the point. But it shouldn't matter. Too many bodies for Outlaws on the control point right now, as overtime is here. I mean, I was thinking of a small little combo. I guess the Disruptor shot with the Terra Surge might be good because you slow people down, but didn't end up working out. Nano on to Pelican. Lucamino needs that fade ASAP. Can't even get to the points, and Outlaws will take round 1.
Despite some really maybe unorthodox hero picks coming out from Paris Eternal, they put up a great fight against Houston. And this is something that we see with a lot of teams, where maybe they aren't super confident in their ability to take on a stronger opponent. You know how Florida Mayhem was running the double flex support in the Junker Queen meta, but it's kind of like looking at those stylistic differences and kind of working with what you've got and also what you're good at, that this might be the surprise factor you need. I mean, it's tough though when you're going up against Sojourn like Merit. Like, not only is that highlight a good example, but also the way that he kited away from Malthol's Genji damage as he was coming after him with the blade. But that long-range snipe does make it a little bit more difficult, I think, to run those more interesting DPS picks specifically. They're just too squishy to survive the charged up railgun damage.
Oh, heal Dante, please. Oh, man, he went so low so quick. Oh, damn, healers just could not keep up. Sojourn's putting in work here for both Paris Eternal and Houston Outlaws. Paris Eternal come out on top rather fast. Dante just didn't really have heals there. I'm curious where Creative was kind of positioned. There was no nade on Dante to kind of top him back up. Maybe Creative was under a lot of pressure from Malthol. Yeah, Dante going down first, not good. Especially in a Zarya comp, you have so much protection with those bubbles. Very hard to focus down sometimes.
Yeah, it can be.
Cooldown tracking too is way more difficult on Zarya now too, because she has 2 bubbles to use, both on herself and then someone else. So, yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Like, we haven't seen a whole lot of Zarya from Dante yet, so it might take a little bit of adjusting. But he seems fine.
Yeah, seems fine to me. All he needs to do is survive, which he does not. Pelican putting people back to bed though by the looks of it. He will take those. Paris Eternal, who do they have on point? Crowy still doing damage, however. But yeah, with 3 people from the Outlaw still alive, should be good.
He was so charged there too. Look at how much damage Crowy has been putting in. Like that's a grav in the next fight. That's kind of ridiculous.
Grab pulse, maybe?
Yeah, like I'm looking at the grab pulse bomb right now as the kind of like the wave that Paris Eternal can come back into this one. It's gonna have to contest with the Nano Blade though. Pelican Creative are slowly racing them.
Yeah, I wonder if Outlaws do end up going first. Oh, there's Pulse. Okay, not used with the grab at all. There's the Nano and the Blade on top. No way Delve runs away from that one. I guess luckily Paris Eternal, they do save their grav. So that's something to think about in the next fight, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you can use the grav. Lastro likely to respond to that one with the sound barrier, and even more so, you might even just see Merit as Paris Eternal walks into this one, use the overclock. Lucamino does have the amplification matrix, so that is one way to push back Merit as just kind of like a, you know, rock, paper, scissors of these ults, but it's going to be the grab first.
Decent grab, but Lastro's getting focused down, even through that beat. Wasn't able to survive. Good body shot from Dove too. Through that window, it is the one shot with 100 charge, so you got to be careful. And like you were saying, Rose, before, Lucamino does set his team up exceptionally well with the Batiste.
Yeah, that immortality field was great. And then, yeah, the amplification too, just to make sure that the beat would be out damaged, was really, really, really smart. And so, yeah, we're going to see a successful retake here from Paris with the grav, the amp matrix. They had to use the overclock too. But hey, sometimes you just gotta give it everything you got. Rack Attack does have that sound barrier though, so that's perfect response to Dante's grav, and they don't have a Baptiste.
They just threw it straight at Crowy there. Oh, the beat plus the immortality field just burned through instantly. Oh man, how do you recover from this one?
I think he was antied.
I don't think you do. He was antied on top of that, yeah. So everything thrown in at Crowy just to take care of him.
Ooh, yeah, look at that. I mean, you're going to see a little bit of stall there from Malthol's Tracer. That does push it over the last fight territory mark here for Paris. We really look at like 85% for that. But now on Houston's side too, you know, Merit's got this overclock. You can use that at such a nice long range. Malthol's hunting for him though. Really wants to take out somebody in the back line to give Paris a fighting chance. Oh. Can't get there.
Yeah, see you, mate. Yeah, that battalion field's not going to last long. Ooh, Merit. Any more kills for the boy? Maybe another one? Just finish one more off? Oh, no. He's not giving it to him. Pelican using the blade. No chance for you, Dove. And the Houston Outlaws starting off the series pretty strong as soon as they clean up Malthol. And a rack attack. Nice normal sharpness there. That was pretty good aim from yourself, Pelican. Or sleep onto rack attack should end it. Well, the trickles are coming in. The lamp countered with the beat, and that is all she wrote. Houston Outlaws with a 2-0 on control to start the series off pretty strong.
Yeah, super nice start there from Houston, and a lot of flexibility in the tank role there from Dante. We saw the Orisa, we saw the Zarya, maybe, you know, having to adjust a little bit to the health pool of Zarya in that first few moments there on Gardens, but otherwise, I think Houston really do look like they've put a bunch of time in their days off to set themselves up for success flexibility-wise.
I am a little bit curious on like a small mechanic or like interaction that happened there, but I'd have to scrub the VOD. I'll have to go back into it. But Dante was body blocking Crowy there with his bubble, so I was wondering if the beat from Rack Attack actually hit Crowy. I'd have to look. He did get burned hella quick, so it could just be the overhealth just disappearing ASAP, but yeah, that was a cool play nonetheless. Yeah, Houston Outlaws starting off the series strong. Can Paris Eternal come back? Well, we'll have to wait and find out.
Please don't let me in. Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time of my own. All these people trying to get a
conversation, you can conversate to that tone. My God, I on that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. All these people trying to box me in, I'm at my weather, it's on, yeah. Now they ask where I'm at, making hits that lambe. I'm MJ, I'm 2-3, man. I just need some time back. I'm zoned in like defense, my life gone, no recess, but I live my best one, so I got no regrets. So I'm gone, finally back in my home. I'm working like so much, they swear I had me a clone. Can't answer my phone now, just leave it there, that tone. Ballin' can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now. Cause I'm back in my zone now.
Hey, welcome back. Houston Outlaws versus the Paris Eternal. No substitutions as we go on to Paraíso as our next map.
Not seeing any substitutions makes sense here. I mean, when we've seen Houston Outlaws play on this map before, they've gone for the Sojourn, they've gone for Echo. Even sometimes they're from Pelican, just being able to play around those buildings, kind of like what we're seeing a lot from Speedily on Atlanta Reign. For Paris as well, I think the Genji just plays really well on this map when you have so much high ground to kind of jump between. So it just, I don't know. I don't really know how to call this one. I'm just hoping that Paris can bring out something a little bit different, and maybe having clear attacking and defending sides will show us a bit more of the power level of their version of like a Zarya or an Orisa comp.
Just bring out something saucy.
Yeah, like more Cassidy Junkrat. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Cassidy still has his extra 25 HP. I wonder if they do end up nerfing the 25 HP. Although he's not really used right now, so it's like, meh.
I don't know if the 25 HP is really that big of a
it kind of was when it first got introduced, because he was like miniature raid boss.
True.
Because it like breaks a lot of like small damage barriers, so, or not damage barriers, there's a word for it, but yeah, but it breaks a lot of like, oh, you know, you're guaranteed a one shot. Like for Widowmaker, for example, it's a little bit more difficult to judge how much to one shot a Cassidy and stuff, but not an interaction we usually see, at least in the Overwatch League. But yeah, I'm just curious how they end up balancing around that.
I think this
that's
is
just my thoughts getting away from me.
I think this is only the second time we've actually ever seen Cassidy this stage too. I believe the first time we saw it was actually in APAC. It was kind of like a quick pick that got chosen. Yeah.
It's an interesting hero, but I don't think Dove is going to choose it here. It wouldn't make too much sense. But Cassidy is in a weird place where he doesn't have hyper mobility like Soldier, where he can run around or Trace or anything like that. And then he also doesn't have range like Sojourn, like Ashe, like Widow.
Yeah.
So he's stuck in this middle ground where I think a lot of people thought Orisa was too, stuck in that middle ground where she can't rush like Rein can with the shield and a speed boost from a Lucio, but then she also can't sit all the way back as like a, yeah, exactly, like a Sigma can, like holding on corners on Circuit, right? So she's in that, people thought she was in that weird mix, but there's, you know, there's some cases for it, like we saw on Control Center a second ago. We are in a brief pause. Apologize for that. Obviously, you can see on the screen, but we should be getting into it in just a moment. Dante's jumping on to the Diva by the looks of it, or at least to Matrix Merit, who's going to jump out on Widowmaker.
Yeah, I mean,
looks
hey,
like
why not?
they're all ready to go, just as a quick update. All good. Cool. Very quick pause. We're back in. Looks like Paris wanted to quickly make sure everything was okay, so we're jumping in right now.
All right, well, we can definitely talk about Paris Eternal's defensive composition first. We've got the kind of like the same pieces that we've seen from Paris Unleashing there. Malthal actually going to go over to the Tracer, though. Malthal's really been flexing in between like the Tracer and the Genji and really looking at these higher mobility characters. Malthal was really well known for the Genji, and so that's been really fun to see come to the fold, but also I think the Tracer has been really fun to watch how he controls territory and how he likes to navigate the backline. But this is kind of what I expected here from Houston. I know Merritt's going to go for a quick pick on the Widowmaker and change, but I don't see Pelican changing from this Echo pick at all. He loves Echo, he's good at it, and Paraíso, at least A, is super good. I hate everything, Pelican. Why do you make me eat my words?
Big old switch.
I am so upset now.
It's fine, you can say. You shouldn't be upset, you still bigged him up.
No, I know.
It's all good.
He's still good on Genji. I just like the Echo too. It's so fun.
Yeah, Echo is pretty wacky, I think, in Overwatch 2, because not having the second tank, it's a little bit more difficult to farm, but at the same time, you do copy an extra Zarya. It's like 4 bubbles on the field that the enemy team has to deal with, and that is pain. Very, very pain.
True.
All right, Houston Outlaws are already gaining quite a considerable amount of time on the points. Dove has dived into the back line, but might be in trouble. He does get anti-nated, but a brief bubble there from Krawi does save his life for the time being. Luca Firmino, not quite so lucky, had to use the lamp on himself, and Lastro just ran him down. 59% amp building for the Houston Outlaws, as Dante looking to go for some grocery shopping, and does bag himself a Krawi and a Malphil, as Houston Outlaws take point A.
Super fast take there for Houston, and it makes sense why they switched up their composition, recognizing that Paris was going to stick to the Zarya. It's a little bit easier to get in there and brawl. I mean, with the D.Va, you can't defense matrix away a Zarya beam. That's not how that works. Unfortunately, Zarya's defense matrix just isn't a black hole. But you know, I think
can you imagine if it was?
How
OP would that be?
What?
If it could eat literally everything, including beam damage, it would actually be the most busted hero in the game.
That would be so nasty. Like, I'm like, Sigma can't even do that, and I think he does create a mini black hole.
He does. He is smart. Smarter than I. Oh, dearie me. Rack Attack in a little bit of trouble. So is the backline of the Houston Outlaws if they're not careful. Malphile did end up missing that pulse bomb, but Creative is still, unfortunately, not looking behind him right now. He had to focus his attention on Dante and the rest of the front line of the Outlaws as they were sent rather low. Good opening from Malphile there, killing Creative, as they do stop the payload. It's kind of an annoying point to take control of if you're the Houston Outlaws, but they should have the ults to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they already have the Blade and the Pulse Bomb online, it's really the Blade that I think is really impressive to me. And you can do, like, you know, Pulse Grav. We haven't really seen many of that combo despite talking about it a lot, but you are going to have the Nano Blade too. Like, they're spoiled for choice here.
Oh, double grab. That's a lot of ults. There's a beat, and there's a second one, so no one's dead just yet. Lamp was used, and now the Houston Outlaws making their move. The Nano Blade is out. Pelican's got to dash, but he goes for the wall climb instead and gets taken out by Krawi. Houston Outlaws and Paris Eternal basically throwing everything they had into that fight. The only thing left is that overclock from Dove.
Yeah, but the biggest difference is that Houston Outlaws used 5 ults and Paris used 3. So the value that Paris just got out of their ultimates there is absolutely massive. Merit at this point is going to switch off of the Tracer and go over to the Sombra. And when you know that you might be stuck at this point for a little while, it's fine to, you know, take whatever DPS passive ult charge you get, try to generate an EMP.
Oh,
the sleep?
Right inside that pumpkin. Wait, the pumpkin's gone. Hang on a second. What's going on? It's client side, don't worry. All right, Lasher ends up going to Rack Attack. Was that even a pumpkin? I don't know what that was.
I thought that was a pumpkin. I swear that was a pumpkin. That's just preview of Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween's
Overwatch
coming
2.
up, so yeah.
Wait, no, it's on the floor.
Camp.
It's under the cart. Wait.
Rest in peace.
Wait.
Rest in peace all the destruction that the heroes do inflict on these maps, including the pumpkins. R.I.P. That was almost a nice little one clip there by Malphile. Pelican does get away in the end. Pulse bomb thrown out. Creative dodges out the way, and now paying attention to Malphile. Might just get the 1 clip. We won't call it a 1 clip. It was more like a 3 clip, but it'll do. Houston Outlaws still pushing forward, though. They've made a little bit of progress, at least. And the Paris Eternal are now coming back from spawn. Houston Outlaws are only 2 on the payload currently, in Lastro and Dante, but they're still pushing it. It's actually Malphile that has to touch in this situation. A hack onto Lastro doesn't end his life, but the one onto Dante will be, suffice for Eternal after using that window. So they stop the payload a couple of meters before second.
I mean, you have to use the window at that point more to be able to push the Houston Outlaws away. Dante doesn't get away with the charge that he had either on the Zarya, so he does have to try to rebuild that, which will stall for a little bit more time there for Houston. But in the time that they were pushing, Merit got the EMP. And that's exactly what Houston have been playing for. They want the EMP online. It's right on top of Lucamino.
Oh. Yep, super nice. 3 people EMP'd for Merits. And Nano onto Pelican, and that's, yeah, don't really need to say much else. That's just what happened. 1 minute to go the Outlaws. That turns into 2 minutes and 30 now for the 3rd point push. Eternal at least have that Graviton Surge, but some late staggers. All good, all good. Payload's not moving anyway, so it's fine if it's the Eternal at this point.
Ooh, so Dove is on the Sombra here as well, and this should be plenty of time for Dove to get an EMP online, so maybe Krawi can actually stall this out with the Grav, allow Dove to get this EMP up, and then maybe Malthul as well can use this Pulse Bomb to keep Houston Outlaws away. You're going against a vanilla Dragon Blade here. Pelican doesn't have the nano available to be able to increase that damage. So it's possible Paris are able to outlast this. They just have to play around this smart, and maybe they can stop the cart here.
Pelican has got the Blade. I wonder if they just kind of save it at this point. I mean, Creative's going to have nano pretty soon anyway. A really early Graviton Surge by Krawi there, but he's super far up alone with no energy, so he couldn't kill Creative. And he gets grabbed himself. An overextension from Paris Eternal. That'll end in their demise. Yeah, Pelican saves that Blade. Should have Nano Blade to finish it out.
Yeah, you don't need the Blade at this point if you were just kind of waiting for that. And you saw the opening there from Dante to just use the grab to answer Krawi's grab. Just like that, though, I mean, no sound barrier now for Rack Attack to be able to save this fight. The Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade even just the Dragon Blade by itself might be good enough.
To Blade, okay. Gets rid of one bubble, spots Lucamino. There's the lamp, there's the death of the lamp, and all bubbles now used by Krawi. He's even hacked. Nice EMP from Dove. Is it going to be able to salvage anything? The Nano still managed to get out onto Dante, who's got enough energy at this point to do some serious damage. And there you go, 42 seconds for Outlaws. They, you know, Paris Eternal made it hurt a little bit there.
Yeah, they still put up a good fight. Like, that was not, I think that it was obviously not an infallible defense, but they definitely had some great moments there where, you know, I think that especially their hold on the 2nd point towards this door's opening was really, really strong. They played around those buildings beautifully. They had synergy when it came to what ultimates they were going to use, and it was very impressive that they were able to outlast 5 ultimates getting thrown at them from Houston Outlaws. So bright moments there. Maybe they're able to, on the flip side, get a full cap too.
With the amount of nothing, you know what, that was, you know, at the end of the day, with 40 seconds to go, it's, this is the counter grab. I mean, Krawi was there with, I suppose, Dove, but Krawi's no energy, and then you see Dante like 180, hit the bomb on Creative, he survives. It's a nice counter grab by Dante. What I was going to say, I love the scenic shots that the observers do of like the map, but I'm always like, at this point in time, I'm always like, okay, where's the Easter egg? Where's the new hero?
Well,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
saw,
there's something there. Oh, there's something there. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a hidden feature. Like,
wasn't that
Lucio's
like
you know I mean?
DJ studio or something?
It was, yeah. But like, there's got to be something on these new maps that indicates to a new hero. You know what I mean?
Oh,
just
true.
like a small little, like. They do it well. They've done it in Overwatch in the past, you know. So I'm always like, that's a little bit weirdly out of place.
You know,
maybe,
yeah.
Maybe that's a hint. I mean, Aaron Keller just gave us a couple of hints on the desk earlier on.
Go find
it's
them.
a tank and it's a dude. So.
Now I guess we'll have to wait and find out what that's gonna be.
Yeah. No Easter eggs here.
No, not on this map at least for right now. But Dove's gonna go ahead and push this with Krawi, just really forcing Dante back.
Yeah, Lucamino just got right-clicked by Lastro. And he also sent Malthul back to Lumbridge too. Yeah, Houston Outlaws' defense is going to be pretty nasty if Lastro can just keep hitting those right-clicks. It's hard for Krawi to get kind of on this high ground. He has to get kind of escorted round, and then what we saw before was them just kind of running at Dante. But again, the amount of heals that they create kind of pump in, you can already see, like, damn, he's got nano already. Like,
yeah.
It's a ridiculous amount of pocket on Dante.
Yeah, well, when Dante's just going in to brawl out against, like, Paris as well as they're rushing at him, like, absolutely. So let's nano him, too, while we're at it.
Yeah, all the way back to spawn. Well, it's okay. Lucamino has a window. It's been successful in the past. Can it be again?
Yeah, use it as a zoning
Questions and
ultimate.
the answer.
Just go try to. You have to take the high ground away first, though. I think that's the biggest problem. Is Lucamino would really like to be able to set up like kind of around the corner so that you have more access to point and it actually opens things up for you. But there you go. They take the high ground.
Dude, Lastro got one bursted there by Lucamino behind that window. All right, things are opening up now, like a can of Pringles on Halloween. Paris Eternal now putting themselves on the point. 2 minutes to go. Got a lot of meters. You've got about 92 of them. And the Paris Eternal, they're going to leave the point just to clean up the remaining kills, and they're going to cap. Howlers have 4 ultimates. I doubt they touch at this point, but their second point hold.
No, wait for it. Pelican's
okay,
there.
Tell a lie. Dante is here, and they've got ults. Ignore me. Dante, self-destruct on the point. Krabi in trouble. Super low, had to use a bubble. And in fact, Rack Attack investing a sound barrier. Anything is good for the Outlaws right now. Just forcing Paris Eternal to use ultimates is great. Even a Blade getting forced will be even better. Merit uses his overclock and Dove matches. They're both trading kills. And he does end up going down to Dove, but Paris end up securing. Outlaws came in with 4 ults of their own, and they used all of them. So Paris actually, Rose, honestly, came out on top of that one. They saved their blade.
This is the second time that they've done this, too. The first time was like the 5 ults from Houston versus the 3 from Paris, and now it's like the 4 versus the 3 here. That was really impressive. And having the Dragon Blade as well. I mean, Pelican is just switching over to the Genji now, and despite not having the Nano available on the side of Paris because they're running Lucio Bap, like this Nano could still hurt. Lastro doesn't have the Transcendence because it just got used. So as long as Maltho can get to a good position, which doesn't look like that's going to happen now, they're going to have to reset after that one.
Yeah, a little reset. A little friendly reset. Not sure what. He died to Disruptor Shot, but I guess a body shot too, because he was kind of like half jumping out of it and then got tagged. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run away. It has that slow too. I
Now
still remember way
tough.
back when. Like, the slow was even more horrible, and the damage was ramped up.
Yeah.
Man, it was crazy.
You were like stuck in molasses, and like you could actually just get killed if you were in the epicenter of the disruptor shot.
A little bit disgusting. And that was also a little bit disgusting from Merit. Ended Malfoy's life. You saw him got nanoed. Lashter and Creative in the perfect position to kind of defend there. They were in that small corridor. They backed up as soon as they heard Blade. As Malfoy was like, having to dash, he dashed upwards and then would have to have dashed towards them, so burning that, and they probably wouldn't have got too much done. He got it kicked away. Creative nanos Merit to get the one shot. Like, man, that was just expertly played there by the Houston Outlaws to deny that Blade. Malfoy does end up switching, however. Goes that Tracer.
And the Tracer was good on this point, so just kind of being able to wrap around the buildings and try to pressure the high ground. You know, you have some great access to that when you can blink across the rooftops, but Merit is just locking everything down. How do you get him off of the high ground?
What is Lastro doing?
What is
He's in the spawn. Lastro couldn't be more far up than if he tried. That was a little bit cheeky. He's just kicking people into Pelican's range.
Oh my god, Pelican.
I mean, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, goodbye. You know you've overextended, it's fine. Just take the L, move on. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. It's not the worst. I mean, Paris Eternal still need to get around this final corner.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first obstacle is, does Crowley land this Graviton when Dante is, reflexively using the defense matrix?
Beat from the Paris Eternal. Got to be careful. Merit has charged up, pops that overclock. The beat fades away. Can he click on people's heads or even their bodies, to be fair, if he was nano? Doesn't look like any codes are coming through for either Sojourn. Just a little bit of damage, and that's about it. Now maybe a little bit more. Graviton Surge available from Crowley. He's okay energy. He's checking for Dante. Wanted to try and get that eat, but he denies it. Dante a little bit too far away and ends up grabbing the front line. Both Dante and Creative end up going down as Paris Eternal still holding on to this payload. The DPS and Lastro, I guess you can count him as a DPS, up on that high ground now, trying to defend that point. Not going to happen. Is the Paris Eternal. They keep on trucking. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go.
You know, I know that it didn't work out the way that Houston wanted it to be able to eat the grab, but Dante did go back to save creative, or at least attempt to, and that's all you can ever ask for from your tank in Overwatch 2 as a backline support. So that probably feels really good. You're going to see Dante switch off of the D.Va anyway, go over to the Zarya, a little bit more closed quarters for fighting, so you might as well go over to something that is a little bit more brawl-oriented. Especially when Crowley's going to be up in your face like this, Dante's going to be able to get charged pretty quickly with those bubbles. Maybe even being able to eat this Pulse Bomb too. There's definitely ways that Dante can get charged up really fast.
Good payload presence from Paris Eternal, though, forcing the Houston Outlaws to drop. Nanoblade coming up. Pretty scary. With 60 seconds to go, and the pace in which Outlaws are building their ultimates right now, pretty scary for Paris Eternal. Because the Nanoblade, ideally, you just kind of save it for these last few moments. Or I say last few moments, I mean, popping at about, what, 20 seconds to go puts Paris Eternal in a horrible position. They actually just can use it a little bit earlier. Nano, Blade, deployed, Dove, dead, wings clipped, and the Paris Eternal, they do end up escaping with only Dove going down to the Blade, but Lucamino dies on the exit too. Pelican trying his hardest to deflect that beam, but yep, still doesn't work, even in Overwatch 2. At least they find one pick. They will be able to get the touch as the payload hasn't moved too far, Rose, so there's still a chance here with 20 seconds to go.
I mean, this is perfect for Paris. Houston don't have anything. Right now, they're hoping that Merit's going to get this EMP online, if they're even able to survive that.
Kill. Nice kill on to Dante, was forced into that corner and used all of his bubbles. And now Crowley's earned himself a Graviton Surge. Deflect from Pelican already used, almost gets burnt up with OT coming in. There's the grab. Lastro doesn't stand a chance, even though he's next to his spawn room. Paris Eternal even throwing out that beat to help Crowley stay in this fight. Now it's Pelican and Merit to touch. Pelican and Merit end up swiftly falling over, however, as the Paris Eternal managed to complete.
All right, we're going into extra rounds. There were a few overextensions there from the Outlaws that Paris took the opportunity to punish. And now, you know, they're in a situation where not only was their defense good enough to stop Houston with less than a minute remaining, but since they finished, they get that minute now. So it's possible Paris can take a win on this map, and they've been playing really, really well, especially if you can get to that second point. I think that's really where Paris Eternal's defense can just brighten up.
It's always winnable.
It's always winnable.
Any different? A little bit different from Houston Outlaws. With Pelican on the Sombra, which is pretty nice. Sombra's hack is rather oppressive at this point. I've been playing a lot of solo queue over the last couple of days. And every time I see a Sombra in the enemy team, I'm like, please. Well, it feels worse for my Zen player or like my D.Va or Zarya player, to be fair, but yeah, it's still pain. The hack time is a little bit ridiculous. Although when it comes to like this level of play, it's a little bit different. People don't nearly blow up as quick because your supports have better reaction times than my support duos in solo queue. See what Paris Eternal can do, however. Malthal and Dove playing the Sojourn and Genji, so completely different look from the Outlaws.
Yeah, well, Sojourn and Genji just feel like comfort there. I mean, Dove is really, you know, livened up on this hero. Oh, but the hack is going to delay Paris being able to get to the point. Oh, they do get Dante out of mech, though. That's actually pretty big if Dante cannot get back into it by the time Paris come back as a team of 5.
Yeah, you don't really want to feed the baby D.Va. I also love I said, yeah, they don't die nearly as quick, and then Lucamilo just gets evaporated. That's rather unlucky. Although Batista's only form of regeneration is his shift, his regenerative burst, so he can't heal himself and has to rely on rack attack, so pretty tough. Yeah, look at Outlaws now, Rose. You called it perfectly. Like, Dante not being able to get back in mech soon enough has just granted so much space to Eternal. A big anti-nade from Creative does force that lap, and in fact, look at this. There's a... okay, well, yeah, swimming the fishes there. All right, that might be it, in fact. A little bit of an anticlimactic ending there. Overtime ticking down. Malthal had a nice little idea of just trying to take care of Lastro and Creative, but not to be. Not to be. Paris Eternal don't get a single percentage point on the first point. Outlaws have quite a clear win condition now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough, too, when Paris only has a minute to work with, and especially on a map that has such a long run-up to the hard point. Like, you know, it's just tough to not take too much damage, also have another attempt, like, 2 attempts is already kind of pushing it if you don't die fast enough the first time on a map like this. So Paris were definitely working with their backs against the wall, but Houston have almost double the time, and this is plenty of time to get ults online too, which is the scary part here for Paris.
Ready for battle. Good to see you. Greetings.
With a minute and 42, that's like 3 fights-ish.
Yeah.
Depending how quickly they go. Although, with that amount of time, you're kind of expecting Pelican to build up to an EMP, which is normally a fight win. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they stick with the Sombra.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, is you know, Pelican is one of those types of players that just overall generates ultimates very quickly. And so this should be plenty of time for him to get something online. If they do stick to the Sombra, EMP surely going to be there. Merit even might get a Pulse Bomb. Creative certainly going to get a Nano. On the flip side of things, Lucamino probably getting that Amplification Matrix online too. And that's if, you know, Paris can defend for 2 fights. But with how Houston Outlaws have been really playing aggressively, this might only take 1.
Good hack. Dove was already mid-slide though. Doesn't cancel out that ability as the momentum was still going. Merit and Pelican, what a dynamic duo in the back line of the Paris Eternal. Krawi is pretty low, had to get that lamp used on him, but that empowered kick from Lastro, a little bit too much for him. Knocked him for 6, and Dove is not really where he wants to be, I will say. Not great right now. He needs to be able to get back to the point, but the Houston Outlaw is just separating him completely. He's now eventually made his way forward as he takes a peek at Creative, sends him pretty low, but that's about it. Houston Outlaws only need that 33%, and now it is Rack Attack's time to try and dismantle the backline. Not going to happen. He just gets his head scrambled by Lastro as the 33% will come in, and the Houston Outlaws will secure 2-0.
Still a log map though, and a very good fight there from Paris, but Houston are just, they're looking in top form today. You know, this is a team that beat San Francisco, and I know it was maybe when they were down a little bit and still trying to find their footing in the meta, but they're still a top contender, and they're still looking to get better seeding moving forward.
All right, we're going to jump into map number 3 after the break. Do not go anywhere. Maybe Paris can claw their way back. We'll have to wait and see. got the rally, they got the help, and they're going to collect this back.
It's Wob in there with a double pulse.
Yeah, look at that, Dark here, the old skewed happy. Right, it's just done away, hit it.
Here's Eternal Fighting.
We're almost here, everybody. Playoffs just around the corner. Same with the Grand Finals. Don't miss out on your chance to see your heroes rise at Grand Finals. Tickets are on sale now for the November 3rd and 4th show. It's going to be a good time. You can get your tickets at overwatchleague.com/2022/playoffs. If you don't want to type it out in your browser, I'm sure the Overwatch League Twitter will have a link in there somewhere too. It's going to be a good time. That's at the Anaheim Convention Center. The Outlaws might be making it to playoffs. We'll have to wait and see, Rose. They're against the Paris Eternal right now. Looking like it's going to be a 3-0. But Paris showed some signs of life there. They did end up full capping on Paraiso.
I realized that I don't actually think Houston can change their position in the standings. I'm not sure it's possible given the league points they have and their win-loss. I don't know. But they are locked for playoffs. I guess they're fighting with London Spitfire right now.
Yeah, so they are locked into top 6 at the moment. So
Yeah.
they do feel pretty damn good. But, you know, a bit of extra practice here. Never a bad thing.
No, it
at
is
all.
good practice, for sure. I mean, I think, you know, looking at just Paraiso and how that played out, like, going to extra rounds, that's on Paris Eternal for pushing it that far. You know, and I think you have to give them credit for, like, even though they're mathematically eliminated from making it to the play-ins, like, they're still giving it everything that they've got. And so I love that they're even, you know, flexing around a little bit. Let's see what Wub has to bring to the table, subbing in here for Malthul as we head over to Junkertown for our 3rd map of the series.
Yep, map number 3. Junkertown. A little bit of Widow, please. A little bit of Widow.
Yeah.
Do you have a small substitution, though, Rose? We've got a couple of players. We've got Wub coming in. Paris Eternal.
Yeah, I mean, Malthul has been good, but, you know, I think that when you look at Junkertown and just Wub's hero pool, I do expect to see a little bit more of the hit scan, maybe some Genji, but, like, if you really want to see Widowmaker, it might be Wub that fulfills that for you, Jaws. Wub and Dove, actually. You can go get a double hit scan here for sure.
Ooh. Yeah, a little double sniper, in fact.
Yeah. Ooh.
I am down. I am down. I always enjoy seeing double sniper on this map. It was pretty entertaining. Depends how Outlaws want to go for this, because with Dante in, you don't expect him to play like a Reinhardt or anything, or like a Sigma. Yeah. Flags in the Doom, maybe. Just jump into the back line. Just make it harder for Dove to do much. Merit or Pelican can kind of do that too. If they go and Tracer, they can just run to the back and just harass Dove and like stall him for enough time for the supports to kind of move up. It's the ideal job for the Tracer there. But it looks like Outlaws right now wanting to play Pelican and Merit on both the Widow and the Hanzo. Are they going to stay on them? No, it doesn't look like it. But Dante's going over to Ball instead.
No way. Okay, so I feel like this stage, I have had a love-hate relationship with Wrecking Ball. It has worked maybe 30% of the time that I feel like we've seen this hero. But it's not a bad hero to get practice on, because you never know what Kiriko's inclusion into the playoffs meta is going to do to the meta overall. So you may as well get some practice. Dante might not be able to run Doomfist in playoffs, so he definitely needs all the practice on every hero.
Oh yeah, Krawi, no surviving that one. After a hack too and a Discord, yeah, you're just taking a lot of damage. Here's the tag team duo. A swift drive by Hack for Pelican. And that lamp going down. You are on the back of the map there. Pretty easy to get to if you have speedy characters like the Outlaws have. And they've been pushing the payload the whole time. So yeah, pretty fast pace they're setting right now.
Yeah, look at that too. Like, Wub already feels the pressure of the Wrecking Ball going after the back line. Dove as well, so it's going to be a 3-hero swap for Paris Eternal's composition. Krawi's gone over to the Diva. We now have Tracer and Sojourn here in the lineup. And so you can still play at range here. I think Wub is going to feel a little bit better about being able to at least get away from a Wrecking Ball that goes after him in the back line. But you still have to worry about the hacks, too, that Pelican is setting up Dante with.
Yeah. I mean, a hack into a slam, and then you have Merit on top of that. Like, you can lamp that. You can, you know, put a Harmony Orb on them, but they're not going to survive all too long. And Lastro, yeah, he do be on the flank, though, kicking away the Tracers. Crowy cleans him up. Pretty easy kill there, I think, for the Paris Eternal. Lastro almost gifted him that one.
Listen, I appreciate the courage to try. I just don't know even if the best Zenyatta player can contend against a defense matrix and a Tracer. I don't think I give that to the Zenyatta player, that's for sure. But let's go again, shall we? Houston getting set back up here. Dove getting the Pulse Bomb online.
Yeah, he's got the Pulse. Oh, there's a 180. He gets the stick, but the Nano comes out from Creative to save Lastro. That's what you want to see from your support duo. Houston Outlaws now moving forward with the Pulse, an EMP, and those mines. And Lastro, he's on the flank, but this time not on his own. A Transcendence to push them out of this choke point as Crowy eats that Pulse Bomb. He's still playing Doorman up here, and it's hard for the Houston Outlaws backline right now to actually get sightlines on the rest of the team to top them back up. The mines did land on the point, the EMP was flung out, but the Paris Eternal holding strong. They just weathered those ults quite easily.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, EMP should be, in a lot of cases, a fight finisher. But Rack Attack gets to follow this up with the Transcendence, and now it's just absolutely clean up here. Pelican tried to push it in the very end, but that card is too far away for that to have been a back cap, which is nice, because that would have been really devastating if Paris got back capped after all of that hard work went into that fight.
Yeah, that would have been rather crushing. Would have felt pretty bad, but no, it's all good.
Yeah.
No C9s. No C9s. And they have ults, so even better. See if Dove can have another pulse here. There's no Nano on Creative, so he can't save Lastro. Or, to be fair, Pelican on Merit, but the chance of then getting Pulse Bomb is pretty slim. Dante off the ball now. He's on the D.Va instead. True Flex King. Pulse Bomb comes out. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Dove landing on Lastro once more. It's 2 for 2 on the Zenyatta. And a quick blink melee to clean up Creative. All right, Outlaws stopped, halted, and Eternal save ults for that. They're going to have window on the high ground, and that's going to be one-shots from Wub with the ult.
I feel like you forget sometimes that you can melee in this game, and that it's actually pretty effective.
Yeah, it does 30 damage.
Yeah, it's pretty good to just clean somebody up. I don't know. There's so many like fun buttons to press. Like you forget that you could just punch somebody in the face.
That is true. There's a lot of fun buttons to press in Overwatch. That should be the tagline, Overwatch. There's a lot of fun buttons to press in this game. The appetizer. We should put that in the appetizer material. There you go. All right, nice dive. Self-destruct's not going to find anybody. Houston Outlaws still marching on forwards. Even Merit with a Pulse Bomb in his back pocket if they need to use it, but I don't think they're going to need to. Crowy is holding down the fort, but not for long. He has to get on payload, otherwise that would have been a free cap for the Outlaws. And with the Nano on D.Va, especially with the buff that she received, what, must have been a couple of months ago now with the micro missiles, but does a lot of damage. So there's no way your backline is surviving. A Nano Dante on the D.Va.
It's not even just like the micro missiles, right? Because this was even just a buff that came. There were buffs for her that came through just this stage. So a few weeks ago, like it's just kind of bonkers to think about, you know, how much people can really use her now. Because it was like to her boosters, her micro missiles, the call mech too. How many call mech kills have we seen from D.Va so far?
Many. Actually, not enough. I take it back. Not enough.
Oh, okay, perfect. We require more D.Va remech kills. Come on now. Crowy, Dante.
Ooh, no recall. But you got blinks. He's out. Self-destruct for Dante. Crowy gets demeched. How did that? Wait, that bomb got him?
No
Jesus.
Shot.
Okay, well.
Bug. Maybe
no.
visual bug?
No, I don't know. It must have just triggered up the stairs somehow. Not sure that. Oh, that went down. Creative going down is pretty disastrous. Beautiful reactive Transcendence there from Rack Attack. Wow, wow, wow. Pelican's EMP was all for naught there.
That was so pretty. I just like, I'm a little speechless because it's like, it's not every day that you see a Sombra go after a backline and then that Transcendence gets pulled out in the face of the Sombra. Like, I feel like the general strategy is to keep the Zenyatta tucked away, or like the Lucio, and then come in after the EMP has gotten the rest of your team. So that was exceptional. Rakatak should be very, very proud of that reaction, and to be able to keep himself and Lucamino alive is why this defense is still holding up. Houston only have a minute remaining. No EMP has worked from Pelican so far. It has just been expert positioning here from Paris to work around this, and they might just stop Houston here.
Jesus. There's one. He's on the board. Nice headshot on Lastro. 35 seconds to go for the Houston Outlaws. Can they make it to third? Looks like they just want to go for a reset. Regroup is 5. Go again. Oh, unlucky up. All good.
Yeah.
It should be Pelican to touch. He is in the background. You can see that little white outline there of the Sombra running around in stealth.
Trying to hack out Rakatak here as well. I just kind of seeing where like Rakatak, Lucamino are hiding. That's great intel to give to the team, but they've got to pressure Paris off of high ground first. So Houston's going to try to grab the
Someone has to touch, by the way.
But
Someone has to touch, by the way. Someone has to touch, by the way. Someone has to touch, by the way. By the way, there are 5 people alive. Outlaws, someone has to touch, by the way. Someone has to touch. Yeah, you have to touch the payload, though. Like, to keep the game going.
No, you don't.
No, overtime?
No, surely how overtime works is that if you kill the enemy team and you just wipe them all out and you get a team kill, the bell gets the payload going, right? Is that how that works? No?
They have to touch. I mean...
No?
Outlaws?
No damage on the enemy team pushes the payload forward?
Maybe they're waiting for the payload to walk back into their laps, I suppose, or drive back into their laps, not sure. That was egregious. Shout out Obs for getting the perfect angle for that C9. Epic. Epic. That was the most egregious C9 we've seen in a while. Like, straight up 5 players alive.
And nobody's
Maybe
touching.
on different pages of the Book of the Outlaws there, not sure. Just no one touched. And they have 3 fast characters. Unlucky. That's a go again. That's, yeah.
So Paris
Definitely a
should
big
win
miscom.
this map, is what you're saying.
God.
Oh,
Okay, let's have a look.
no, are we watching this again?
Okay, so look. Someone's going to touch right. You got Merit and Dante in the back line trying to deal with the Rakatak and Lucamino. Kraui and Wub did manage to push people away. But yeah, in that situation, you're looking at either Merit or Pelican to touch on the Tracer or the Sombra.
Anybody.
Well, even Dante, to be fair, too, on the Diva, like, can go for that touch, but rough. That's real rough. Don't worry, Outlaws. That's going in a highlight package, and that's also probably getting posted to Twitter. So
No, that's going in the
good.
highlight package at the end of today's matches. I love the packages they put together, like post-watch point. That's in there for sure.
Who's best? Yeah, who's best today is that one?
Yeah.
It's got to be someone. It's probably Matt's, if I had to guess. All right, Houston Outlaws holding at the spawn doors. They don't want to make that C9 be any more painful than it was.
Now, it's their superpower. It's not Houston if it's not Houstonable, okay? And
True.
like whenever
They made the
you
tweet.
you
That's
hear
true.
the whenever you hear like maybe sounds or get a whiff that there might be something Houstonable, that's just their superpower, because they'll take that and they'll actually turn it into a W. So let's see the close hold. Let's see if Paris can actually get out of spawn. So far, not so good. Oh, Pelican
has
has
been farming.
they
All he
can't
needs is
touch him!
a lick of heals. Dante ends up going down. Yeah, I mean, not touching him might be the best option right now. Oh, nice deflect kill. Does he get away? He does. He has Orb, getting about 30 HPS right there. Even with Dante dead, Pelican is just being completely ignored. He do just be killing people. And then Lastro Transcendence to touch spawn. Yeah, that is... Yeah, Outlaws.
Okay, Outlaws.
Ooh, Dove with the... Oh, what a nice reflect kill by Pelican. Jesus. He's quite locked in today on the Genji, I will say.
Yeah.
That was a nice one click from Dove, though, onto Lastro. Nice kill.
Well, Paris have eventually left spawn. That was so oppressive. Like, Pelican, Lastro, like, if Lastro's not sniping somebody out of spawn, then Pelican is hitting them in the back of the head. Like, it's just so tough to be able to get out of that position. And Merit's gonna hit you with an EMP, too. Oh.
Big EMP, yeah. Yeah, Rakitai didn't stand a chance against that one. I mean, the amount of ults, an ult charge Outlaws have farmed is pretty scary. To say the very, very least.
Pelican still hasn't hit the blade.
Beautiful.
Pelican's...
He is playing... He might be playing solo queue right now. Like, the way he's playing, like, up into the spawn doors, just... Like, this is aggro to a whole new level.
Yeah, Pelican's been really aggressive this match. It's, you know, even on Paraíso when he was, like, overextending forward, and you know, Paris at that point could capitalize on that. Did go around, they turn around and get the punish, but Pelican has not been punished once this map.
Oh, nice kill on the Creative. Does get hacked out of that flux, so they don't come crashing back down. But in fact, both supports are already dead before they even needed to happen. Both Krawi and Lucamino coming out rather big with 2 support kills. Houston Outlaws do get a chance to touch. Grab and Nanoblade available.
Should be a great way for Houston to kind of stop this pressure. I mean, Krawi could eat the grab? Maybe? They don't have much time, though. I mean, if they get grabbed here, it's over.
There's Nanoblades. Lucamino dying through Transcendence there by the looks of it. 4 slashes on to the Sigma, and even gets grabbed right in his face. Oh, no deflect for Pelican. Oh, he's got a bubble, though. It's all good. He's still pretty low, and so is the time banker. The Paris Eternal right now. It's only 10 seconds to go. I know, we're already in OT. Outlaws, you got to touch the payload this time. Do not forget it. Do not forget it. Rack attack does end up coming up big. Pelican still doing a lot of damage, but in fact, Paris Eternal managed to turn this one around. Quarry comes back on the wrecking ball. And they do get that first point. Okay, Outlaws, yeah, they can't C9 if they are just all dead. So, yeah, Paris Eternal got that going. Thank God.
I mean, that was a tough situation, I feel like, for Houston. After they got the grab, it was single target. But then also, you know, like the 1v1 between Pelican and Wub was just not going in Houston's favor there. Merit, though, has another EMP. And so when Houston have already gotten so much time off the clock, Paris have sub 2 minutes now to try to push through second. This could be very difficult for them to get through, especially if Merit's just going to go ahead and hit him with an EMP. Oh! Okay, a Transcendence 2 from Lastro.
Super aggressive Transcendence from Lastro there. Wow. It was, again, Lastro was just kind of in the back line of the Paris Eternal. I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty big tempo play because you don't really want to give Paris Eternal high ground. You can have Pelican sitting up here. Same with Dante, almost for eternity.
You're not saving the Transcendence for much either, you know? You don't, like, what on Paris' side? Maybe for the amplification matrix, but you have enough cover that you can just kite away from it. So it's time for the EMP, though. Merit's looking for this back line.
Easiest EMP of his life right there. That Immortality field come out quick enough from Lucamino. For his backline, we're dead. I mean, they're going to push. You're going to push. You know the D.Va's almost out of Matrix after that one. And they'll probably leave the Pilot D.Va too. Paris Eternal in a rather sorry state right now with 60 seconds to go. But the Bleeding Edge, you know, they do manage to clutch out point A, so we'll see if they can do the same thing on point B.
That's true. This might
They've got to make up for it. I mean, look, Houston Outlaws had an egregious C9, like, couldn't be worse,
yeah,
right?
like,
So
like Houston have to win.
At the end of the day, Paris, you know, if you take a dub here, that's a mad knock to Outlaws.
That's true. All right, pulse bomb time for Dove. Dante looks like a great target for this.
Yep, it looks like he's going for it too. Nanoblades come out though for Pelican. Oh, he's got them all in his sights. Look at that, Rack Attack trying to chase the rest of his team with the Transcendence, but just was not quick enough. Genji just cleaning up, and spawn door, spawn door, spawn door. Yeah, Pelican literally calling for the spawn door push. I mean, you might as well. Someone's going to touch, and it looks like it's going to be Dove. But no, taken care of by Creative, and that will wrap it up. Houston Outlaws with a 3-0 over the Paris Eternal. As, yeah, still locked into top 6 rows. Still feeling pretty good.
Yeah, they're definitely locked in. I think they're, I think the Clash, the Canadian Clash actually helped them with that one, didn't it? They actually got locked in last week, even though they didn't play a game last week. But now it really is for seeding, it's for the standings, and Houston looked good. It's for practice as well. Each of these matches are really going to help them out here to prepare them for playing a bit more flexibly come the next meta.
Yep. Not bad at all. Feeling pretty good if you're Outlaws right now, I think. You're what, at 15-6 overall this season? Paris Eternal just unable to get that elusive second win.
Yeah, it is 15-6. I did just double check that just to make sure we were right. Really, the only other team that's kind of on their tails right now is going to be London Spitfire, sitting in 5th seed at 13-9. They don't have many other matches to go off of, though, and I think Houston will still beat them out in terms of match points? League points?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they're still ahead on league points right now, so the standings can change here and there, but it's only a matter of time before we kind of see what goes down with that. Outlaws, like I said, 3-0 at the end of the series. Player of the match for this one is going to be someone in the back line. I think it's going to be Lastro for the Houston Outlaws. Looked pretty good on both the Zen and the Lucio. So, yeah, congratulations to Lastro for that one.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that, you know, Lastro can play flexibly between the Lucio and then the Zenyatta to provide kind of like that main support assistance or just go with the double flex support is pretty massive. There are a lot of teams that don't have that type of flexibility, and does make for some kind of difficult decisions when it comes to who do you actually put into the roster, because you don't want somebody that might need to at some point have to flex over to something that they might not be as comfortable with. But Lastro does it beautifully, did some tremendous Transcendence healing, got a chance to allow these teams to play aggressive, and then those snipes across the map, Jaws, that was so much fun to watch.
Pretty nasty. Yeah, Lastro, definitely a fun Zen to watch, and even more fun when he's in the lobby and he has match chat available to him. That's yeah, some of my favorite Overwatch League history comes from Lastro, that's for sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, Outlaws are definitely feeling pretty good with themselves. It was always going to be tough for the Paris Eternal, but I mean, Dove, Malfoy, they had some nice plays here and there. You got to say they have hopes for next year. I'm curious to see where they will stand in 2023. Obviously, time will kind of tell with that kind of thing, but the Houston Outlaws feeling pretty good. Even with their roster getting shook up a little bit throughout the season, it felt like they had a bit of a rough patch when like Piggy left, obviously who's now on the Guangzhou charge, but you know, pretty sure of themselves going into the latter half of the year, which is the most important time to be sure of yourself, of course, going into play-in. So there you go. All right, we're going to jump to a quick break. We've got an interview after this, but yeah, other than that, we'll see you in a bit. 2 more bangers coming up soon though.
Last fight. I believe player.
포기.
죽였어. I can surrender.
루시오. 아이. 굿잡.
Good.
굿잡.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. I'm here with Pelican from Houston Outlaws. Pelican, congratulations on the win. I mean, your Genji, I think, was fantastic. It's always fantastic, but I want to focus on your Sombra. I think it's a new hero that you picked up this stage, and you have been phenomenal on it. So, were there any hardships picking up that hero, and how is playing Sombra for the Houston Outlaws? 자, 오늘 승리를 축하드리면서 3대0으로 되게 좀 빠른 승리였는데요. 뭐 펠리컨 선수 끝에 가서 겐지도 좋은 모습을 보여주고, 항상 겐지는 뭐 잘하는 거 아시니까 솜브라에 대해서 좀 여쭤보고 싶은데, 아무래도 우리 솜리카는 좀 이제 새로운 좀 거라서 이 영웅을 좀 이제 다루는 거에 대해서 좀 어려움이 있으셨는지, 그리고 지금 팀을 위해서 솜브라를 계속 사용을 하고 계신데 어떠신가요?
일단은 솜브라 플레이하는 건 어렵지 않았고, 그냥 원래 옛날에서 많이 했었어가지고 기본적인 건 다 알아서 어렵지 않았고, 제가 잘해가지고 게임이 쉬운 것 같아요.
끝에 한 번만 다시 말씀해 줄 수 있으세요? 잘 못 들어서. 끝에 누가 잘해서요?
펠리칸이 잘해가지고 게임이 쉽다.
Alright. So, Pelican says, it wasn't too hard for me to pick up this hero. I've spent some time before the stage as well. So I sort of had the basics down on the Sombra hero, so I didn't really have that much difficulty. And to note, more importantly, this guy named Pelican is actually very good just in general. So I think that's why, it's sort of, we got the win and it looked a little bit easy. I agree, and I had to repeat that because, at first Pelican sounded a little bit shy to say that he was good, but now, he said it with confidence. So yes, Pelican, you are a great player. 네, 말씀하신 것처럼 굉장히 잘하는 선수인 거 인정하고요. Second question for you is, of course, I think tomorrow is a very fun and exciting match for all the Texas fans because tomorrow is the battle for Texas, and you guys will be going up against the Dallas Fuel. From what I remember, I think Houston Outlaws won the battle for Texas in the beginning of the season. What are your predictions for tomorrow's match? I'm pretty sure you guys think that you guys are gonna win. Do you think it's gonna be an easy fight? Can you give us a score prediction or anything? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 내일 경기가 되게 좀 재밌는 경기가 될 것 같습니다. 이제 한국에서는 텍사스 더비라고 하는 거라고 제 기억으로는 생각을 하는데, 원래 시즌 초반에는 휴스턴이 이겼고 이제 내일 한 번 더 경기가 있습니다. 어떻게 좀 내일 경기 좀 예상을 한다면은 뭐 당연히 휴스턴이 이길 거라고 예상하시겠지만은 뭐 이렇게 좀 쉽게 이길 것 같으신가요? 아니면 어떠실 것 같으신가요?
일단은 내일 오프라인 경기이기 때문에 오신 팬분들을 위해서 웬만한 풀세트까지 가버리도록 하겠습니다. 빨리 안 끝내고.
Alright, because tomorrow's match against Dallas Fuel, it is going to be offline. It is going to be a LAN event, so I will try my best to carry the match on so that it won't be a quick 3-0. I wanted to go as far as we could push it so that the fans can enjoy the LAN event as much as they can. Alright, Pelican, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time. Again, big congratulations on the win. 자, 오늘 인터뷰 여기서 마치도록 하겠고 오늘 승리 축하드리면서 보내드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. Thank you.
감사합니다. Thank you.
Collecting the waves again.
And I've been kind of getting good at it.
No, I saw some people wouldn't have it though. It was hard.
Certain Korean players, I would tell them, be like, yo, you need to wave.
You better wave
you
back.
better wave back.
Or else.
Yeah, and he just discovered his hands, so he's really into this.
Yeah, my
whole
baby
wave
does
thing.
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Is there too much to discuss here about the game? Reinforce, you wanted to see the dominant performance. Yes, there was an egregious C9 there, but other than that, I think that
if they had drawn that Paraiso, it would have just been like everyone watching the broadcast would just let out a sigh, just like, why did you draw on Paraiso? It was a pretty clean 3-0 victory here, a bit of a warm-up before the Dallas Fuel game later this weekend. So, business as usual. Dante on the Orisa.
Yeah.
The Orisa duel. It's actually interesting because I definitely turned around on Orisa. Last week I had a bit of a rant, that maybe teams should stop playing Orisa.
You had a rant?
And for the most part, I did.
Wasn't even a rant. He full-on hated
not surprising. And I was like, people should just stop playing Orisa. But after playing some Orisa this week myself, she is very fun. You can actually justify playing Orisa.
And you like Dante's performance on Darisa?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Control Center is actually one of those maps. Like if you can't play Reinhardt, just play Orisa. It's like it's like if an off-tank player really wanted to be able to play Reinhardt, just play Orisa instead. You can throw spears, you can spin, and you almost have like an Earth Shatter, but around you instead of... I'm trying, Matt! I'm trying, Matt! I'm trying!
I have never heard of Orisa's ultimate described as a circular Earth Shatter.
It's a circular Earth Shatter, and you don't get stunned.
But nobody gets stunned,
But
nobody gets knocked
So it's
down.
like the same thing, but not at all.
So what is it? What does it have in common with Earth Shatter? I'm curious.
It deals damage, and
Okay.
it's like...
So do you know Pulse Bomb is pretty
deals-
similar to Earth Shatter?
It's an area ability. It's an area ultimate.
Okay, listen, Matt.
Oh, this
This
is
is a
terrible.
Yeah, they stepped off here. That's not great.
In slow-mo.
Could have done that better. Well,
Five
you know,
players
that's
alive.
good.
Why not?
As I said, it's a warm-up. They're getting the C9 out of the system
I don't think that's how
before the
C9
Dallas
works.
Fuel match tomorrow.
I
Because tomorrow they'll be like,
think
oh, we
that's
can't C9 like we did on Jungle.
We mean getting it out of their system. We've seen this thing numerous times. Like this isn't like.
There's a lot in the system.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a weekly thing.
Okay, and also, like, listen, Matt, like, you can't be giggling here. Like, he's at least trying to analyze. When we looked at that game, you wanted to bring up the point that two DPS birds are playing against each other.
Right.
So I don't really think that your analysis
I was
is that
thinking
hard
through
to-
Owl history, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time that two DPS players named after birds have played against each other. It's kind of what I took from this
Fact
match.
check us,
That's-
YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was a Custa fact. It was just made up.
A Costa fact?
Yeah, Custa just makes up facts here on the
Does
desk.
he?
I'm convinced.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I'll keep an eye on it.
I mean, really though, like, we knew the Paris Eternal weren't very good. They didn't look very good. And then we know the Outlaws, like, they're in the top of the West. Like, I didn't really
I'm so
learn.
glad you're
I
here.
didn't really learn anything about how good
provide
the Outlaws
so much.
were.
You
I
provide
didn't
so
learn
much.
anything about how good the Outlaws were. Like, I need to see them play against like good
They will,
teams.
Dante played a
they
lot
keep
of
their
different
air
heroes.
I didn't learn anything
and
about the
that's very
Outlaws
interesting.
during this one.
I say we just move on to the next match and see if that one will teach you something.
It'll be way better.
Well, we'll see about that. Our predictions all went in favor of Boston. You thought you have a sleeper pick with that one. Why is that?
Yeah, because I think the Justice Decay on like any day can pretty much just win a game.
We
It's
said that since
depending
day
on-
one.
Which is still true.
They have
It is still
Decay.
true. But it's still true. And I actually think, like, you know, we memed a little bit with the Kalios Junker Queen and like how he does top damage, but he's always dead. I actually think he's been playing quite well lately.
This
So
is Orisa.
yeah.
Reinforce.
So I think they got a shot.
Why did you go for Boston?
Well, they got Punk in the lineup, right?
That's
There you go.
The
That's a
Punk
win
buff.
right there. I think they have great compositions. I think they play great around the double flex support and Diva composition. The question is, like, will Washington Justice with like Kalios playing Zarya be able to match that? Is Kalios going to match him on the Diva? It all comes down to the V brothers. The V brothers.
Who?
If they're gonna be
remember
able,
that?
if they're gonna be able to have the damage
I wanted to
output
forget about it.
to deal with the Washington Justice, because you have like what Valentine going up against Decay. If I'm a Boston fan, am I really like confident in Valentine dealing with Decay? It could happen. It could happen. I think that the teamwork and the compositions from Boston Uprising will beat the Washington Justice, but we could all look very dumb after this match.
That
We're all wrong.
is something
I am
we've
worried
definitely
about
done
being
in the
wrong.
past, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised. But I was also counting on Punk's flexibility on that tank role. He
Yeah.
is enabling his team to play a lot more different compositions than
Yeah.
what we've seen from the Washington Justice thus far. Any last words before we're heading into
Kalios
the action?
Orisa.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We're gonna
You're
leave
not
you
going to
with
say
that.
whether it's good or bad. You're just
No,
going to
it's
say
Kalios
You're just going to say
Orisa.
Kalios
Spewing
Orisa.
facts. That's what he does here in the desk, dear Danny. We are ready to bring our casters in
think
for
we
all
are.
the actions. Where are your predictions, guys? Are you also going with Boston, or do we have some Washington fans out there? Anyone a believer?
I'm kind of
Lemon?
feeling the
Harry?
Washington, you know. I mean, like
Oh.
Decay versus Valentine. It's not exactly a battle for the ages, but it's going to be a battle for the next hour at least. And I think the Decay
It's a
tends to
battle.
win that one probably 8 times out of 10. So yeah, for me, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to make the risky pick and go Washington.
You're so capping, actually. Boston
Lemon is
are
not about that.
undefeated this stage. and Victoria has better Sombra stats. And Justice got pounded by Atlanta like it was not close. Overwatch occurred
Stay
that
strong,
way.
Leg Day. Stay strong.
It's just me.
Yeah,
just
strong.
me over here
Just
in the
you.
Decay fan club.
It'll
You're
work
gonna look
out.
like a genius,
man.
though.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
if I'm the
if it
only
doesn't
one who
work
gets
out,
it right,
everyone will
that's going to be
forget.
huge for me. Exactly. And
And if Boston win, well, it's just what everyone thought was going to happen. It was in the script that Sean Miller wrote. That's okay.
I respect
We're
that
going to dive into
I've done
this
that
one to
before.
see if the desk is going to be full.
Being the single pick. Just me.
Well, the only
there was
thing, Decay.
There was like 2 months in season 1. Bren dressed up in Shanghai Dragons gear.
Matt, just stop talking, okay? Lemon Key was trying to talk. Just stop, Matt. What are you on about?
Decay, yes.
Let Lemon Key talk. Come on.
yeah,
You already
Decay.
cut me off last
What about
week.
Decay?
It's fine. The only Decay peak is like they sprayed. So let's try and cover that now that we go into the match. Thank you all, Desk. Let's get into analysis. All right, Boston versus Washington. I didn't mean to be so mean to you. I'll accept your pred. Well, we got to be halfsies. I'll go Boston, you go Washington. Is that a deal?
Yeah, sure. Like I think that Washington definitely have a couple of things going for them in this meta. Even if the performance against Atlanta was a little bit lacking, I feel like they were just kind of outpaced by Atlanta and the real power that speedily brought to the fore with the Echo. But I'm not expecting as much Echo from Boston Uprising, to be honest. Probably going to be seeing a lot more mirror matchups today when it comes to the Tracer and the Sombra. We've already pointed out that like Victoria's been a fairly impressive Sombra, so let's have a quick look soon at that Boston roster, and we can talk through what's been happening here. Those of you at home who haven't been keeping track, Punk's dad has got an interesting stat line that he's been keeping over the course of this year about maps that have been won with Punk in and maps that have been lost with Punk out, and Punk's win rate for Boston Uprising is actually surprisingly high, and in an off-tank focused meta, he is absolutely dominating. Whether it be on the Zarya or on the D.Va, Punk is definitely a big piece of the overall puzzle here, Lemon, but Victoria is also coming to his own on the Sombra.
Yeah, Punk's leadership is important. You see it in the stats. There's no arguing about it. Let's talk about the V brothers, as Reinforce has quoted. The 2 Vs make a W, and I think that's what you have with the double flanker of Valentine and Victoria. Statistically, Victoria a better Sombra than Assassin, higher average damage, final blows, hack assists, and lower deaths. The only thing that Assassin is a little bit better on is how many enemies he does hack, but that doesn't translate to a higher hack assist. So we need to see Justice really coordinate around apparently all the opportunities Assassin is creating, while Victoria is already doing an awesome job.
Yeah, Victoria's done a pretty fantastic job on that. Let's have a look at who he's going to be going up against, because in our crosstalk, I did talk a little bit about Valentine versus Decay. And when it comes to legendary tracers or legendary just DPS in general, Decay is one of the legends. You all can remember the bidding war that seemed to have happened in pre-season 2 for Decay that LA Gladiators eventually won, but it was Decay's run in